Hey Spice Tea fam, T here, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So today I got a good one for you. The judge is irate over an inmate having to be in custody longer than what she was told or what she expected. It's a new judge. I haven't covered her on this channel before, and I think you guys will really like it. But before I get into the video, please like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications. That way you're notified anytime I post a juicy hearing. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Richard J. Goodman appearing on behalf of James Hall, Your Honor.
And who's here from CFP?
Andrea Vandenberg, Hospital Director, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Vanderberg, I am sorry you are caught in the crossfire of who they decided to send here today for the show cause. And I understand that you are the hospital director, and actually, show cause, really it should be the head of CFP, not you, who is just someone who is doing the best you can, and I'm sure and I'm cognizant of that. That being said, this is the second time since I've been on the bench that I have had to show cause the Center for Forensic Psychiatry for writing reports that find people incompetent. This man was found incompetent 1 year ago on April 24th of 2024. This man was kept in custody pending placement in a hospital. CFP has assured me that if I keep someone in custody, they will get placed faster. And by releasing them, I run the risk of CFP putting them at the bottom of the list, to which point they're never getting placed in for treatment, because as it is known, once a person is found incompetent, there are 15 months to restore that competency. 15 months is 1 year and 3 months. So CFP says, if you keep them incarcerated, we will place them faster. If you release someone, it will take longer because we place in custody defendants faster. I don't use that as a method to decide whether or not to keep someone in custody. I honestly take everything on a case-by-case basis as to whether or not someone should remain incarcerated, as to whether or not they continue to pose a public safety threat to the public, or a return of court concern. So those are more the factors I look into. So I have released people pending CFP placement that I don't believe are a concern for either of those factors and are waiting for a hospital bed, because I don't believe there's proper mental health treatment being given in any jail in the system that we have here. That being said, this man was kept in custody, and yet 1 year in, he was still not placed into treatment. So I'm concerned about the disconnect of CFP telling me that if someone remains in custody, they're going to be higher on the list and be able to get treatment faster. And I am not unaware that there is a massive mental health problem that is a much bigger scope than what I am going to ever be able to solve in my courtroom here in the 39th District Court. And that is a much bigger scale issue that is happening with our lack of mental health treatment services that are resulting in a multitude of people entering into the court system that probably don't need to be here because their underlying mental health issues, there's no access.
Former inmate here, if you guys know my story, you know, but this guy needs mental health medication, he needs mental health services, and in jail and prison, we all know that it's not on the top of their list of things to help people with. So the fact that he's been in jail waiting to go this program for a year is sad. And the fact that they're telling the judge, oh, keep them in custody because we get to them faster, well, clearly they don't. And this poor man is probably suffering, not getting the proper care and medication that he needs to help him succeed in life. And it's just so sad. And I'm glad that the judge is taking this seriously, because him waiting in jail, again, is not benefiting him in any way, shape, or form. He needs to move on to the next phase. He could get the proper help he needs, the proper meds, the therapy, all of the things that is going to help him in his mental health, than him just sitting there waiting for a bed. For a year, I've never heard of that. Ever in my life have I ever heard of that. Maybe not even waiting for a bed for substance abuse treatment. I've never heard of that. The longest I've ever heard is someone waiting like 6 months. So the fact that this guy's been in there for a year for mental health issues alone is so sad to me.
To be able to treat that. I understand that that is a broader issue than we are going to solve in my courtroom this morning. That being said, I would think that with a 15-month time period, if the faster route is someone remaining in custody, and this man sat in custody for a year on a 15-month time period, I'm not sure how that is any sort of faster route, or that we're doing any services to get anybody placed into treatment. And I understand that the hospitals are overrun, and I understand that, ma'am, you are only here as a director of the hospital, and they threw you under the bus today to throw you into me because they didn't want to come back to me because they've already been here and they've already heard me. That being said, I am now aware that 2 days ago, Mr. Hall is now placed into a hospital and into treatment. And shockingly, this is the second time I've show cause the Center for Forensic Psychiatry. And this is the second time that 2 days before the hearing date, magically a bed opened for the person I show caused for. So I don't know where I'm supposed to go with that as a judge. Do I wait 3 months if someone's in custody and say, well, if they're not placed in 3 months, I'll show cause? Because I swear if I show cause, apparently we magically open beds available for people. So I'm not trying to cause a massive disruption or act like I don't understand the broad scope of the overall issues here, which are underfunding for mental health treatments, lack of resources, lack of access, lack of hospital beds, and lack of things that are well above your pay grade and my pay grade. So I do understand that. But at the same time, we have an obligation to service people. And if we are going to deem them incompetent and say we are going to provide services to restore that competency within a certain time period, I believe that we are doing a disservice and we are not upholding our obligations if we are having someone linger in a jail for a year where they are not getting any services for an entire year. Nothing is being addressed. Nothing. I would have better luck releasing somebody and having them go to community mental health and finding services on their own at that point, because all I'm doing is cycling them in a system that's doing nothing for them. And the whole point of having this ability to look at someone's competency and address it is to be addressing it. So I thank you for being here today, because today is now a moot point and a non-issue, because magically Mr. Hall got a bed 2 days ago. And I really hope he's getting the services that he needs to restore his competency. But if I continue to have people linger in the jail for almost a year, I will continue to show cause CFP as to why. And I think that's only fair to keep a check on the system to make sure that we are actually servicing the people that we claim we are supposed to be servicing. And the whole reason we are finding them incompetent, because otherwise there's no point to me even sending referrals or considering someone's mental health. But the problem is, if I don't consider someone's mental health, that is the entire reason 90% of the people end up in court before me. So I'm doing nothing and I'm serving no one sitting in this position. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you listening to my lecture, because understand that this was not for you, because I know that you have nothing to do with this and you are here today with literally as their scapegoat. But feel free to pass on the message, because I'll just continue to show cause if people are going to linger for a year, and they can continue to report to me. And at some point I'll be fining CFP with contempt charges, because I don't know what else to do to get the message across that I understand there's time. And I'm not saying someone's found incompetent, they're going to get a bed the next day, but a year is unacceptable in this court. I appreciate everyone's time today. Mr. Goodman, thank you for your time as well. Your client's been placed. We'll let you know an update. We'll set a review on this matter, and we'll set that review for 45 days out at this time. Mr. Goodman, why don't you pick me a date, late May, early June, whatever works in your schedule, at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom.
Oh, it has to be on a Wednesday, or?
It has to be on a Wednesday. Work within your schedule. You tell me. Late May, June. I mean, we can go 90 days to July if that's what you'd like. I'd like to keep it somewhat just so that we're getting a check on things, because his 15 months is going to expire in July. So I don't want to go too far out.
How about June 4th?
June 4th is fine with me. Ma'am, thank you for coming today. Like I said, I am well aware that you were just the scapegoat sent here. You have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. The other question my client was going to ask that I'm anticipating is that they have him on 23-hour lockdown at the jail. He was going to ask the court, or I'm requesting the court, and I don't know if you have any discretion in this anyways, is to allow him to be moved back to general population.
So, I wish I could do things and the jail would listen to me. But I have no control over the jail or how they do any of that. I barely have control over whether or not they'll zoom into my courtroom on an average day. So that well exceeds my authority.
Right.
However, I am going to also refer your client for a community substance abuse assessment, just so that we can see if he needs any services. And I am going to order that if he does bend out, community corrections is to provide financial tether assistance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take some of that burden off of him. Okay. And good luck with that, sir. I have no control over where the jail places you in their facility. I'm just happy when they zoom you here.
Mr. Jordan, do you still have a question or no?
No, that's it.
That's what I figured. All right.
You guys
Thank
are all
you.
set today.
Thank you, Your
You're
Honor.
welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, my next court date is what? Is when? April the what?
April 14th, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
What's your substance of choice?
Alcohol.
I could put you on a scram tether pending your own placement into treatment and not keep you in the jail. This is not an offense that at this stage on a misdemeanor, I would likely keep someone in the jail for, sir. If you are asking me to, because you feel that that is where you are safer, I do want the place where we are protecting both you and the public. I am trying to find a way to not take fully away your liberty in order to do that. We could place you on some sort of scram tether and then give you time. A scram tether would tell us if you're drinking.
Okay, when you say that they would keep me in jail, is that just waiting on a bed? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and I don't know how long that would be.
That's perfectly fine with me. I'm okay. If anything, it's time served.
So here's the
I mean?
problem now. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a $1,000 cash surety 10% bond. Only because what's going to happen, and then I'm going to refer you to be placed into residential treatment.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Then they're going to send me something and say, we need you to give him a personal bond to be placed into treatment, which I will sign. I have tried recently to just give you the personal bond and say, place him into treatment. But then the jail came back and said, well, you can't give them a personal bond if you're going to be placing in treatment. So what they're going to do is when they get you treatment, they're going to contact me and say, you need to give them a personal bond. I'm going to do that for you. I would do it right now, except that this is becoming a bureaucratic logistic nightmare lately.
That seems a little. That seems a little asinine, ma'am. To be honest with you.
I agree, and I'm just trying to get people into treatment. And I don't want you to linger in the jail. I want the easiest way. I thought cut out the middleman. You don't need to send me a letter. I'll just do a personal bond, release into treatment. Apparently the jail doesn't like it that way. Sir, I wish I had more. I wish I had all the authority that people think I do. But very few people actually listen to me. So I'm going to place you into treatment with a cash surety 10% bond. So that's $100. So as soon as they get you a bed, they should be contacting me saying, will you change it to a personal bond? And as soon as I get that letter, I will sign off on it so you can actually go to treatment. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Am I able to make suggestions as to where I would like to go, or is it just first come?
You can talk to them about that. You can talk to me. I'm sure you can ask community corrections. If there's a facility you think you'd benefit from, I would hope that they would listen to you and look at the best facility that you're going to thrive in. I cannot control that. They might just give you the first bed that's available. And I have no control where you go, but hopefully I would advocate for yourself and say, if it's possible, this is a place I feel I would be the most benefited by a space. And I really do hope that you get the help you need. You're not coming back to me, Mr. Valdez, so I do really wish you the best. You're going to have a pretrial with Judge Tocco. Right now, because you're still in custody, you're not in treatment, I'm going to set that for April 16th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in person. But if you get released to treatment, you should make sure Judge Toko's court is contacted and asked to adjourn that for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're all
Is
set.
that
with me
my-
today.